And so for you, like I'm curious too, because I have to imagine there was a lot of self-doubt in the beginning with everything. And then focus on like the challenge of life that would, be coming your way after this, right? Especially if you were like a pro level skier and everything and had this happen to you, right? So how did you learn to overcome the self-doubt and the challenges of life, to lead to a truly extraordinarily one? Because we still, no matter what state we're in, have self-doubt and things like that, right? So how do you attack that when that comes up in your life?
I would say, first of all, that I would set modest goals. And for example, the very first thing once I was able to sort of move around was, okay, they don't make a prosthetic right away, so you're on crutches, and the dog needed to go for a walk every day. And so I said, well, let me start being the one that does that. And lo and behold, my arms got stronger. I could go further. I could, go up hills. And it's like, oh, wow, that's fantastic. And then I would look at something else and set some modest goals. And for example, when I said to my parents, the amputation was in January, and in March, and we lived in Michigan, and in March I said, I want you to take me out skiing. And I wasn't really fully even healed. And like I said before, I had to use pointy poles. And as you know, because you're a skier, Dave, we say in skiing that you steer with your big toe, which means that if you only have a left foot, then, and your big toe is on the right-hand side of your left foot, then you're going to make a right turn, which is going to seem natural. But your left turn, well, we never steer with our little toe. And so that turn is really clumsy. And so true to that, when I would get up and I would start to go, I would have a really smooth turn to the right. But then I would try to turn to the left, bang, fall. And it was like turn, fall, all the way down the hill. And my parents thought, oh my God, this was a horrible idea. He's going to be absolutely humiliated. And when they said, how do you think it went? And I said, yes. And they said, we don't understand. I said, all this is going to take is hard work. I can learn to turn, to steer with my little toe. And so that, we're not afraid of hard work. So that's not a barrier. It's just a matter of time. So that's one thing. But the other thing is that there's this transference that goes on. So once I really felt good about skiing, then that gave me a solid foundation of success that when I went into something new, and I'm going to be nervous about it. I'm going to be uncertain, but I have this strongly in my mind, this sense that, okay, I accomplished something really hard. So this is just something new. It's hard, but I just need to learn and work hard at it, and I can do it. And then pretty soon you have 5 or 6 things under your belt. Mm-hmm. And you know how that I'm sure the exact same things happen to you.
Yeah. And that's, I love that you went there, because that all it takes is that like one win, even if it's a small one. And then the next one gets easier and easier and easier. Right. So like building a business, right? The first time you have to go through, oh crap, we're out of cash and we're going to be out of business in 2 weeks if we don't figure this out. And you figure out a way to get through that, right? By inserting cash in the business if you got some, or calling all your accounts receivable saying, hey, can you let us pay later? Or calling your clients to accelerate some payments and stuff to get through that stuff, especially in like a startup phase. Once you've done that once, it's not as big of a deal the next time. And so on and so on. If it comes up, right, it gets easier to handle, and you don't, it doesn't have the seriousness that it did before. I mean, it's still serious, but it doesn't derail you. It's just like, okay, and I've said this before with business, is that the more problems that you can solve, the bigger the business you can have. Because realistically, the path of growing a business is solving bigger and bigger problems. And if you can do that well, then it can, grow and scale infinitely.